That's 800-PACIFIC, or go to PacificCoastTermite.com.
Pacific Coast Termite kills termites
The clean, friendly way.
Do you struggle with distance vision and need readers? Brett Burkhart for Laser Eye Center of Silicon Valley with a game changer. Custom lens replacement, CLR. Spend your active years without glasses, contacts, or readers permanently. Plus, no cataracts. Dr. Craig Bindi and his team have performed tens of thousands of procedures. Schedule your free consultation at lasereyeclr.com. CLR, no glasses, no contacts, no readers. lasereyeclr.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
We don't take a break from what we do. Live and local around the clock. We are the Bay Area's #1 news station. All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS and KCBSradio.com.
KCBS News Time is 7:58. Let's head over to Milpitas with Rebecca.
We've got two different problems right now in Milpitas, and they're both on 880 northbound. So the first one happened just after Dixon Landing Road, a two-car crash. They're blocking the right lane, and it's pretty slow getting by here. And then continuing north to 880 northbound just before South Mission Boulevard, as you are heading over to 680. We've got another crash here. Two cars blocking the two left lanes, including the carpool lane. And it looks like there's some fluid leaking out of one of these cars as well. So we've got some emergency crews on the way to clean this up. But at the moment, it's just really tough getting by 880 northbound through this whole segment between 237 and South Mission Boulevard. So you may just want to take 680 instead as your alternate. That's moving very well. No problems in either direction there. Your next update, 8:08 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
Thanks, Rebecca. Fog, clouds, and drizzle are back tonight. Coast and Bay will have lows in the 50s. And then it'll be slow to burn off tomorrow, kind of like today, with breezy to gusty winds, upper 50s to low 80s. Traffic and weather together on KCBS. It's Tuesday, June the 10th, 2025. Coming up on KCBS, Governor Gavin Newsom takes to the airwaves to blast President Trump and warn that democracy is under assault.
If some of us could be snatched off the streets without a warrant, based only on suspicion or skin color, then none of us are safe.
I'm Raquel Maria Dillon in San Francisco, where city officials say close coordination with protest organizers kept the calm during a massive demonstration.
I'm Elisa Clancy. CBS News covers our world. Coming up next.
When you need to know, KCBS AM, KFRC FM, and HD1, San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, and Odyssey Station.
8 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. President Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth have made a stop at Fort Bragg. While there, the president referenced the Marines and National Guardsmen he has sent to Los Angeles amid protests that have taken place in response to immigration raids.
Generations of Army heroes did not shed their blood on distant shores only to watch our country be destroyed by invasion and third world lawlessness here at home, like is happening in California.
California Governor Gavin Newsom says Trump is pulling a military dragnet across Los Angeles.
There are no longer any checks and balances. Congress is nowhere to be found. Speaker Johnson has completely abdicated that responsibility. The rule of law has increasingly been given way to the rule of Don.
Due to increasing overnight violence this weekend, LA's mayor has issued a curfew for a 1 square mile area of downtown LA from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. CBS's Camila Montoya Galvez on what some National Guard troops are up to in Los Angeles.
The National Guard troops, some of them deployed by President Trump, are now going with immigration and customs enforcement officers here in Southern California on operations targeting immigrants who are suspected of being in the country unlawfully. And the National Guard, according to ICE officials, is providing security.
At their national meeting, Southern Baptists have overwhelmingly endorsed banning same-sex marriage, including a call for a reversal of the U.S. Supreme Court's 10-year-old precedent legalizing it nationwide. They also have called for legislators to curtail sports betting and to support policies that promote childbearing. A new United Nations report warns world fertility rates are in an unprecedented decline. More from CBS's Michael Wallace.
The UN Population Fund survey found most people want 2 or more children, but 1 in 5 say they will not have their desired number. They cited financial reasons, infertility, lack of time, or lack of a suitable partner.
The UN fears some countries will overcorrect like they did 40 years ago when they worried they had too many people. Now they're looking to boost fertility again. There are reports of another shooting in Gaza, this time near an aid convoy carrying flour. The reports come days after officials in the region say other people trying to get to aid distribution sites were also shot. CBS's Elizabeth Palmer with more.
Heavily militarized zone where the risk of being shot is pretty high. It is very difficult to secure and keep safe when you've got so many thousands of people so desperate to get food.
Brazil qualifies for the 2026 World Cup with a 1-0 win over Paraguay. This is CBS News.
A word from Progressive Insurance. Life can be hard, so Progressive can make bundling your home and auto easy. Hope that helps. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
It's 8:03 at the Bay Area's news station, KCBS. With sort of June gloom at the coast today with plenty of sunshine inland. It looks like the same for tomorrow with a little cooler temperatures, upper 50s coast to the low 80s inland and quite breezy. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Elisa Clancy, and here's what's happening at this hour. California Governor Gavin Newsom blasted the president in a public address this evening, saying that Trump's, quote, assault on democracy has begun. KCBS's Megan Goldsby has more from the governor.
Newsom said local and state law enforcement had the protests in Los Angeles handled. He says they had simmered down. And then President Donald Trump called in the National Guard without consulting the state.
This brazen abuse of power by a sitting president inflamed a combustible situation, putting our people, our officers, and even our National Guard at risk. That's when the downward spiral began. He doubled down on his dangerous National Guard deployment by fanning the flames even harder. And the president, he did it on purpose.
Choosing, Newsom says, theatrics over public safety.
California may be first, but it clearly will not end here. Other states are next. Democracy is next. Democracy is under assault before our eyes. This moment we have feared has arrived.
Megan Goldsby, KCBS.
President Donald Trump has not reacted to Newsom's address. If he does, we'll bring you his response right here on KCBS. A federal judge in San Francisco has rejected Governor Gavin Newsom's request for an emergency motion to block the Trump administration from using the National Guard and Marines to assist with immigration raids down in Los Angeles. According to Governor Newsom's office, the judge instead scheduled a hearing for Thursday afternoon to give the state and federal government time to file additional briefs. The governor's office anticipates that a temporary restraining order would be filed a short time later. California filed suit against the Trump administration after the deployment of roughly 4,000 National Guard troops and 700 Marines to L.A. following 4 days of protests over ICE raids. Meanwhile, activists say they saw at least one person detained from inside an immigration court building in San Francisco's financial district this morning. ICE agents also reportedly arrested and removed 4 immigrants at a federal courthouse in Concord. The news of these arrests drew crowds and confrontations at both locations. We'll have more on this at 8:20 tonight in about 15 minutes. San Francisco city officials are thanking last night's protest organizers for keeping things mostly calm while thousands of people marched through the mission. KCBS's Raquel Maria Dillon reports.
Mayor Daniel Lurie credited pre-planning and coordination with organizers for the peaceful protest against stepped-up federal immigration arrests and for due process for immigrants.
Throughout the day and night, I was in close contact with organizers of the demonstration.
Thousands marched without incident while Mission residents looked on and cheered. But now some neighborhood businesses are tagged with graffiti and anti-ICE slogans. SFPD Deputy Chief Derek Liu.
Around 10 p.m., we issued a dispersal order after multiple individuals committed vandalism, destroyed property, and obstructed traffic around Market and Van Ness. Our officers encircled roughly 80 individuals and made arrests, which assisted us in immediately taking control of the situation.
Lurie acknowledged that only a few people were responsible for the property damage and promised that city officials and police would defend protesters' First Amendment rights. In San Francisco, I'm Raquel Maria Dillon, KCBS.
Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass has issued a curfew for downtown Los Angeles. It just went into effect about 7 minutes ago, from 8 p.m. tonight until 6 a.m. tomorrow. Mayor Bass says this is meant to stop vandalism and looting. The curfew applies to 1 square mile of downtown, and it doesn't apply to residents who live in that area, the homeless, or credentialed media and emergency officials. Just ahead on KCBS.
I'm Shannon Golden in San Francisco, where UCSF Medical Center nurses are rallying together on day 1 of contract negotiations. We're ready to fight.
This traffic and weather together on KCBS. It's 8:08. Rebecca Goudion is in the traffic center tonight. Are we going out to the East Bay?
Actually, yes, we'll take a look at the East Bay, 880. We've got a lot of problems here, especially in Hayward. 880 southbound at A Street. Still got a couple of lanes blocked because of this earlier crash. Looks like it is the 2 right lanes, so you're going to have to get by on the left. Again, 880 southbound at A Street. Traffic here is still backed up from 238. And then taking a look at the South Bay, if you're headed from Mountain View into Sunnyvale, 101 southbound starting to really slow down a lot, especially as you're getting past 237. That stays slow all the way to Lawrence Expressway. Looks like there is some Caltrans activity setting up here. We do have a lot of road work scheduled for both sides of 101 for the rest of the evening. And right now, those cones are going up around Lawrence Expressway. So it sees you slowing down just before 237. Right now, 101 northbound is not affected by this, so it's a pretty decent ride from downtown San Jose all the way through into the Palo Alto area. Your next update, 8:18 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
Thanks, Rebecca. Breezy to gusty onshore winds tonight with overnight lows into the low to mid-50s. Fog, low clouds, and drizzle tonight again, bringing overcast skies for tomorrow morning. It'll be clearing almost to the coast by midday. We always hope it does. Today, not so much. Upper 50s coast, low 70s around the bay, and low 80s inland tomorrow. Traffic and weather together on the 8th on All News 1069 and AM 740 KCBS.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-355-8282. That's 800-355-8282. Again, that's 800-355-8282.
Big Creek Lumber is California's one-stop shop for both contractors and homeowners. Looking to build a deck? Big Creek Lumber is ready to assist. Big Creek Lumber has a large selection of products on hand, including Trex decking, and even offers home delivery. Looking for savings? Now through the end of August, get 10% off and free delivery on Trex decking orders 300 square feet or larger. That's right, save big on Trex decking now. Receive 10% off and get free delivery within a 20-mile radius of Big Creek Lumber on a Trex Trex decking order 300 square feet or larger. Just mention the word KCBS and you'll receive this special Trex offer. When you want a deck that delivers above and beyond, build with Trex. Stocked at every Big Creek Lumber location. Mention the word KCBS and save 10% off and receive free delivery on Trex decking orders at Big Creek Lumber. Call, come by in person, use the Big Creek Lumber mobile app, or visit BigCreekLumber.com today. Big Creek Lumber.
KCBS News Time is 8:11. Thousands of registered nurses from UC medical centers are rallying across the state today to mark the start of their contract negotiations. KCBS's Shannon Golden reports from Mission Bay. UCSF nurses are rallying ahead of what they say could be a tougher bargaining period than those of years past.
Registered nurse Rosita Villarroel led a crowd of UCSF staffers in chants outside of Benioff Children's Hospital.
It's extremely important to show solidarity with all of our colleagues. Whether they can come out and join us or not, we wanted to show a very united front.
They're among the 25,000 RNs with California Nurses Association who are seeking improvements to patient and nurse safety, livable wages, and better security measures in medical centers across the UC system. She says staffing is also a persistent issue.
We don't have resource nurses. We don't have break nurses. Oftentimes, even though with the California law, a lot of our nurses are still not getting breaks. They're being expected to work long 12-hour shifts with very high acuity patients.
Nurse Maggie Ming says they expect these negotiations to be more challenging than in years past.
So I'm a little bit nervous. I think there's going to be a lot of pushback from the UC regents, from management at the bargaining table.
UC and UCSF have not responded to KCBS's request for comment. In San Francisco's Mission Bay, Shannon Golden, KCBS.
A California woman is seeking millions of dollars in damages from Costco after she was injured at a North Face store. Sadie Novotny says she was shopping at a Costco wholesale store in Santa Rosa with her husband on March 22nd and alleges she sustained multiple permanent and severe injuries after a heavy liquor cabinet on display fell on her suddenly and without warning. She says she suffered a traumatic brain injury from the falling cabinet and is claiming Costco failed to fix the conditions leading to the alleged incident. Costco did not immediately respond to KCBS request for comment. KCBS News Time is 8:13, sponsored by My Outdesk Virtual Assistants. Spend more time on high-level work and less time on busy work. Grow your business with My Outdesk Virtual Assistants.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-688-7606. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-688-7606. That's 800-688-7606. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs, with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but HIMS can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Coming up on KCBS.
I'm Megan Goldsby outside the San Francisco Immigration Court building in the Financial District, where an activist reports seeing someone detained.
8:15, taking a look at sports. The Giants started a series tonight in Colorado, playing the Rockies. And they're at the top of the ninth. The Rockies have gone ahead 5-3. Golden State Valkyries will next host the Seattle Storm on Saturday at Chase, 5 o'clock tip-off. Stephen Langford has sports.
Since he won a championship with the Golden State Warriors, Kevin Durant has played for the Brooklyn Nets, then Phoenix Suns, and a new team could be in the fold. ESPN's senior NBA insider, Brian Windhorst.
I do believe Kevin Durant will be traded in the coming weeks. Today, the Suns are naming their new head coach, Jordan Ott. He's at an introductory press conference. They've been going through that process, and I expect them to look into the Durant trade market pretty soon.
He does have 1 year left on his contract, so questions remain. Will he need an extension? Will the Suns involve him in the discussion? We could also see a coaching trade. Current Mavericks head coach, a Bay Area legend, Jason Kidd, and the New York Knicks have expressed mutual interest, but the next course of action for Dallas...
They could just say no. They could negotiate a new contract with Jason Kidd to make him not even think about the Knicks, or they could trade him. And I'll just point out, 11 years ago, Jason Kidd did this exact same thing. Wanted to be the head coach of the Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo, got himself traded there for 2 second-round picks.
At the sports desk, Stephen Langford, KCBS.
Attention homeowners.
Want to sell your house fast without lifting a finger?
Yes.
Then call my buddy John from John Buys Bay Area Houses. He's helped thousands of homeowners just like you sell quickly. Whether you need to move, downsize, or upsize, he can help with a fast sale. Call 510-426-5000. They buy your home as is. No cleaning, no repairs needed, plus you choose the closing date. Selling your home has never been easier. Call John Buys Bay Area Houses at 510-426-5000 and get a cash offer in under 7 minutes. They handle everything. No need to deal with realtors, no fees or commissions, and they work to your timeline.
Ready to sell your home fast? Search online for John Buys Bay Area Houses or dial 510-426-5000. That's 510-426-5000. 510-426-5000.
John Buys Bay Area Houses. Sell your house the easy way.
This traffic and weather together on KCBS. It's 8:18, heading down to Sunnyvale.
It's pretty slow right now on 101 southbound heading through Sunnyvale. The reason for this is we've got some Caltrans activity setting up right before you get to Lawrence Expressway. Looks like the 2 left lanes are going to be closed for quite some time. I will let you know as soon as I find out exactly how long they will be closed, but for now, you'll have to get by on the right-hand side, and it sees you slowing down from before 237 on 101 southbound. The traffic does ease up once you get past Lawrence Expressway, and then it's an okay ride into downtown San Jose on 101 southbound. The northbound side of 101 starting to slow down a little bit as well as you head up the peninsula, getting past Oregon Expressway into Palo Alto. This corridor of 101 has a lot of road work scheduled just about every weeknight, so you can expect delays here in both directions between Oregon Expressway and then Woodside Road in Redwood City. So you may just want to take 280 to avoid all this activity. No problems on 280 in either direction. Your next update, 8:28 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
Thanks, Rebecca. KPIX meteorologist Paul Hagen has a look at your 6-day forecast.
Not much change to the day-to-day weather pattern through the rest of this week, through the weekend, and even to begin next week, which means plenty of low cloud cover and fog at the coast, and even a little bit of drizzle every once in a while, especially on some of those westward-facing slopes. With the fog and low cloud cover in place, your temperatures aren't going to warm up very much, upper 50s to around 60 degrees for coastal communities into early next week. Temperatures around the bay and farther inland will be a little bit warmer, but a little below what's average for this time of year, anywhere from 3 to 6 degrees below normal. That means mostly mid to upper 60s around the bay and a mix of upper 70s and low 80s farther inland. But when even the warmest spots are staying below 90 degrees, we're doing okay for the month of June. For KCBS, I'm First Alert Meteorologist Paul Hagen. Don't forget we have local news for you tonight at 8 and 9 p.m. on PIX Plus.
Thank you, Paul. Traffic and weather together on the 8th on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS. KCBS news time is 8:20. Activists say they saw at least one person detained from inside an immigration court building in San Francisco's financial district this morning. And as KCBS's Megan Goldsby reports, the news drew a crowd down to the court in protest.
Luna Oslager-Montañez is an organizer with the We Fight Back Coalition, which she describes as a group made up of unions, community groups, and immigrant organizations. She tells KCBS she saw a person being detained inside a courthouse building by what she believed to be plainclothes law enforcement officers, take the person outside to a waiting van, using pepper spray, she says, to make people move back. That's when the organizers put out a call for more immigration rights supporters to come to the courthouse.
I'll say we expected people to come out. I did not expect close to 1,000 people to be here. So many people were here that we formed a picket that went almost the entire perimeter of the block around 100 Montgomery, closing all the exits so that if ICE did try and leave with people, we'd be able to stop them and show them where the community stands.
She says many groups have been accompanying the people with immigration court dates in and out of hearings, and they'll continue to do so.
It's critically important we encourage and empower our immigrant community to continue to keep coming to their check-ins, because it's actually easier for them to be detained in absentia if they don't show up.
KCBS reached out to the Department of Homeland Security for comment. The spokesperson didn't confirm any detainments, but said in a statement in part, quote, the administration is again implementing the rule of law. In downtown San Francisco, Megan Goldsby, KCBS.
A Marine battalion and thousands of National Guard soldiers are now in Los Angeles after being ordered there by President Trump to deal with anti-ICE protests. But KCBS's Eric Thomas reports it's not clear what they're legally allowed to do.
Rachel Landingham is a retired Air Force lieutenant colonel and former military lawyer. She says if Governor Newsom had called out the National Guard, the soldiers would have the legal authority to make arrests and assist the police under state law. But since they were deployed by the president to protect federal buildings and federal agents, Landingham says they don't have that authority.
If they put their hands on a protester to push them back from a federal building, they're technically engaged in policing that's illegal under the Posse Comitatus Act.
The Posse Comitatus Act is a 150-year-old federal law that prevents the use of active duty federal troops in domestic law enforcement unless the president invokes the Insurrection Act. And Mr. Trump has not yet done that. Landingham says there's been no guidance about what specifically the Marines and soldiers are allowed to do to protect federal buildings and personnel. Eric Thomas, KCBS.
And we should now add that an overnight curfew is in effect in Los Angeles until 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. PG&E and San Francisco Fire Department are conducting a large-scale joint safety exercise today. As KCBS's Matt Bigler reports, it's a coordinated response to a natural gas emergency, aiming to enhance the city's preparedness for critical incidents.
We're going to be practicing a coordinated response to a major earthquake that could occur anywhere in the Bay Area. And the impact at any time, and it could have an impact on both our gas and electric systems.
Jason King with Pacific Gas and Electric says much of that response is coordinating with police and fire departments so that their crews can safely de-energize downed electrical lines and shut off ruptured gas pipes.
We're sending out a fire truck. And that's where we would deploy both our vehicles that have Picardo technology that can sense methane in the air from gas leaks, and then traditional foot patrols in areas of high impact.
What should you do if you smell gas? If you said call 911, you get partial credit. King says the first thing you should do is get to a safe location and then use the phone.
And we will dispatch crews to help make the situation safe.
On Treasure Island, Matt Bigler, KCBS.
California lawmakers have agreed to provide $110 million in funding for Prop 36. Sacramento Bee reports Republicans wanted 4 times that amount to implement the new law that increases penalties for repeat retail theft and drug offenses. They say what was approved was not enough to pay for the mental health and drug treatment programs that the law requires. Governor Newsom opposes Prop 36 and could veto the millions in funding.
A troubling sign that the nation's banks are preparing for a downturn in the economy. Citigroup, one of the country's biggest lenders, is setting aside hundreds of millions of dollars more than it did last year for loans that it expects will go bad. On Wall Street today, stocks end with modest gains on signs of progress following a second day of U.S.-China trade talks in London. The Dow up 105 points, the Nasdaq up 124, that's 0.2%, and the S&P added 33. President Trump said today that the administration will start phasing out FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, after this year's Atlantic hurricane season, which ends November 30th. And after a nearly year-long strike, the Screen Actors Guild and the American Federation of TV and Radio Artists have reached a tentative contract with major video game makers. That includes Activision and Epic Games over the use of artificial intelligence mimicking their voices and likenesses inside those video games. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Business for KCBS.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance.